You should take a picture of this. See, still nobody with a pen out. That's all right. It's called Cryptopedia. Please welcome to the stage, Andrew Demcak.
My OCD was going nuts like the whole time because this leg was almost off the step. And I just kept waiting for it to topple over every time somebody put something on it. Anyway, this is my book called Cryptopedia. It's about hidden things, secret things, rare creatures. But I just wanted to do one thing before I start reading. I just want to take a picture of everybody who's here because you guys are probably the rarest creature of all because you're actually coming out on a Saturday night to support local authors. And I think that is so fantastic. So I'm just going to take your picture if you don't mind.
Okay.
Say cheese! Awesome! You guys kick ass. That was so good. Okay, what I did to make this book is I took Wikipedia articles, cut them into little pieces, rearranged the words, and turned them into blank verse poems. So this is all about monsters, including monsters from the id, just like Forbidden Planet. Because, you know, we all have little monsters inside of us. And these are all just about creepy things that have happened, supposedly or maybe not. It's about the intersection of science and religion. Anyway, this first one's called The Devil's Footprints, and it's from 1885. And it's really the story of a bad relationship. He leaves, wings folded, carrying his harp, the end. Footprints appeared far afield, as far south of life as Devon. Living dream, my many names for him. I follow the tracks between 80 and 100 miles, through a collage of passers-by, the insistent flags of cigarette smoke, and their bright faces and belongings, old houses, the bent rivers and haystacks, other obstacles I travel straight over in pursuit. He, with his book of the damned saved, and his footprints left on the tops of snow-covered towns, where fear melts to love on the first long roofs and high walls where together we laid. He still wanders that country. I love you, fellow citizen. Your dark traces, planted deep and single file, are reported there. You who had stepped from beyond, who arrived to learn the usefulness of white shoelace and ankle bone, come down to me from Dorset. February 1885, our difficult tryst hidden, 2 men in a snowbank, fresh as flakes. I struggle to find that succession of hoof-like marks in the frost. In these discovered spots, measuring 9 inches long, I recall you, your cock and your demon-like figure, and this amazing want rages through me. This is another one. There's actually a book out right now about this woman. She was actually real. Her name was Mary Toft, and she lived in the 1700s. And she was one of those really famous tricksters and charlatans, and I just think she's amazing. She could sell cars if she were around today. She's amazing. Mary Toft. She, being with her first child, took ill and delivered a rabbit, not a person, but clumped fur, one stillborn cottontail. A veil of placenta drawn across it, the man midwife bound up the creature, its tendons cleaned of fat, heart and lungs grown outside its belly, the blood marrows. Mary Toft, a poor woman, trundled it, still weak, choking. She fell aside, seeing the dead animal's unfamiliar limbs. Her claim to have given birth to other mammal parts as well, shoulders and bent ribs, one violet-colored jaw torn away. her ghastly daydream no longer walled up. The local surgeon looked into the matter, her sly uterus and the pink ribbons of labial flesh. Locals, after all, differed in their opinions. Was Mary Toft a new medical curiosity fit for the Royal Society? The Englishwoman from Godalming, Surrey, who in 1726 became pregnant, miscarried bones, hair, and clawed feet. Okay, this is a nasty one. This is you know, I think we all have an inner demon, I guess you'd say. This is called Rawhead. Who will be valiant enough to peek through the wallboard crack, glimpse me aglow, bright as a cigarette on a summer night? I am the crouched creature feasting on a pile of loose bones. Children weep when ripe. They smell like briny olives. I'll slap them into subjection, force wide their whining mouths beneath the steady leaves. I live in green ponds. I am daddy's snake. I curl around tiny necks and drink blood like a 515 martini. No one gave me anything. If you could get into my brain, you'd know my name, Boogeyman, Mr. Rawhead, and Bloody Bones. Woo! This is just an odd thing. This crazy monk built a church entirely out of human bones. Okay, this is the poem from that. It's called Sedlec Ossuary. I chose an enormous chandelier of skeletons, every bone from the body to hang from the corbelled nave. The skull garlands and desirable ribs drape the vault. My pious act soon spread, a Gothic church of mortar and pale maxilla, executed by a half-blind monk of the Cistercian order. Admire it, my white buttresses lifting briefly zygomatic, the upper chapel in the Czech Baroque style. I employed a stonemason to put the nameless bone heaps into fixed order. This macabre work speaks for itself. Bell-shaped piles of shins occupy the corners. I made every new loss and interment a room. Fin de temps, the last task of exhuming carcasses, moved many stubborn hooves. But please, don't thank me. I paused only once during the Black Death's cacophony. Thousands were buried here, confining their histories to chalky mandibles. Okay, UFOs, yay! Okay. This is called the Tunguska event. Some people may know this. Was it a meteorite that exploded over Russia? What was it? This is what I think happened. Wreckage of an alien vehicle. I lived in a hut by the river with my young brother, Cherokee. We slept. Suddenly we woke up at the same time. Finding of quartz slabs with strange hieroglyphics. We heard whistling and felt a strange wind. Cherokee said, "Can you hear all those birds flying above?" This was the first thunder. The explosion in Tunguska midair. The earth began to move and shake. Then I saw a wonder. Pines were dancing, their branches on fire. It became very bright. Hills blown down in a hurricane spiral. How can I say this? It was as if there were a second sun. My eyes were now burning. I even closed them. After winter, the noticed shine of a spaceship shell, glinting half buried by thrown debris. Now I remember it well. There was also one more thunderclap. but it was so deep and far away, where the sun goes to sleep. And the last poem is for all you fans of 11:11. How many times do you look up and see that on a clock, on something, on the microwave? Okay. Let me explain what this is. 11:11 prompt. A Pavlovian bell rang where there was no bell. 1111 spirit guardians called midwayers. I'd witnessed streetlights blinking out while I drove underneath. My ability for pattern recognition, the innate 1111 prompt, visible signal broadcast through digital watches, a psychic wake-up call on mobile phones. In open places, I am prompted. I can't move the dark lintels of memory, hot circuits in any source of numbers. These unearthly comrades, transcendent, speak to us in that 11th hour. In the rusted bunker, amazing, I glimpse 1111 prompts. The air comes full of char and dust, the river of time sweeping away a city burnt to crumbs. Woo!